Be honest, what do you think comes after death? I truly believe that the place we go when we trip hallucinogens like DMT is the same place we go when we die. The soul leaves the body, we experience ego death, and we enter a tunnel of euphoric light. Then we transcend space and time and merge with a cosmic consciousness. This is pretty much what every near-death experience survivor describes. So I don't have much reason to think that's not it. I imagine it kind of like the end of Interstellar when he goes to five-dimensional space. Did DMT once, lost my mind, almost died, saw some absolutely wild stuff, was at peace, lost my mind again, came back to my body, lost 2 years of my life losing my mind from the physiological trauma and derealization. Best and worst experience ever, but now I also view what I saw in there at the core of peace and existence as the afterlife. 2 out of 10 would recommend. I have wondered about this after taking mushrooms on a few occasions. I felt like I glimpsed something beyond when I was tripping and felt what it was like to take off my current identity and become energy. It's hard to explain, but I have never been quite the same after. In a good way, though. The same silence and darkness that came before I was born. I'm not sure why people are so needful that their consciousness will remain intact forever. Sounds like a great way to go crazy to me, living on forever and eternity. You wake up in a slimy pod, gasping, the fluid draining from your lungs. You'll have moments to make a move before they come. I honestly think it is probably the same kind of nothing as before you were born, which sounds scary at first, but also kind of peaceful when you really sit with it. How do you know there was a nothing before you were born? Genuinely curious. I mean, even the events of our first 3 to 4 years seem like nothing in retrospect as an adult, but they were definitely very much something. Because I don't know about others, I can't remember anything from that time, especially from when I was 1 or 2 years old. You spend some time as a ghost, and then they erase your memory and you come back in another avatar, body. Play another game? I've read thousands of near-death experiences, and I don't believe the similarities in them can be attributed to a drug released in the brain. I don't know of any other drug that creates hallucinations of the same experiences in thousands of people. I believe that what I experience will be similar to what others have experienced. I'm stoked to be here and stoked to die. The research I did brought me a level of peace well beyond anything I could have imagined. I'm stoked to be here and stoked to die. What a beautiful sentence. Thank you, love. An absolute law of the universe is that energy is never destroyed. It just changes form. Whether that's reincarnation or something else, I don't know. But something will happen. I just can't begin to know what. This is exactly what I believe as well, based on the law of energy. Life is too beautiful to not have been somewhat relived. I don't feel like I need to figure this out either. It's too great and expansive for my human mind to figure out. It's a nice thought, but a misunderstanding of physics and entropy. But consciousness is not the same as energy or matter. The energy and matter that make up your body certainly do continue on in different forms, but none of them include your consciousness. It always helped me to believe that heaven exists after death, but heaven to me is whatever brought you peace and joy in life. For example, I love music, so I'd imagine heaven for me to be a house with 2 stories, a bedroom, and a music room for all my instruments. I'd be able to record my music on a computer without the programs ever crashing or the chords ever getting tangled or broken. Essentially, heaven to me is whatever brought the person peace in life, becoming their afterlife. I always picture it as waking up at Fenway Park, watching all my favorite players, and my mom, who has already passed, is waiting for me with a hug. It brings me peace because she passed way too young, and I still miss her dearly. That's heaven on earth, and consider yourself lucky because so many people go through life without ever identifying something that gives them meaning. For me, playing instruments is pure escape. I don't feel pain. I don't worry about my bills. I don't think about that argument I had at work. I don't worry that I'm a bad parent. I don't think about what others think of me. No matter how much I've slept or eaten, I'm not hungry or tired or in any state of need. I am whole, I am present, I'm content. I am perfect. Music is transformative, meditative, medicinal. Ah, the supernatural afterlife. I like this idea too. Was in a severe car accident. Coma. It's like going to sleep. You don't realize you're in it until you wake up. If you never wake up, you don't know you're in it. Same deal for me. Induced 4 days after a severe car accident. It's just nothing. My last memory was about 2 minutes before the accident. After 4 days, when I was woken up, I had to be told how I was T-boned by a drunk driver, extracted by the jaws of life, had a severe TBI with brain bleeding, that I would never see out of my right eye again, and that this all happened days ago. It felt like it happened minutes ago. Anyway, all that trauma, and I remember nothing. It was a blessing. Those 4 days just didn't exist for me. I imagine death is exactly that. Whether there is some kind of higher ascendance, or your consciousness inhabits a new vessel in a year or a million years, or there is just nothing, it doesn't matter. You won't know the difference. I've drowned and been dead a total of 3 times. Once as a child, twice as an adult. And my experience of death was the same. Just fade to nothing and awake again. Twice on the side of a pool, and once on the rocks and shells of the shore. My biggest fear is I won't have the time to tell everyone I care about just how much they matter. I'm content with my life. I just want my kids to know how much they matter. This is the exact same thing I believe. Sleep is like death without the commitment. Therefore, death is like forever sleep. Picture a wave in the ocean. You can see it, measure it, its height, the way the sunlight refracts when it passes through, and it's there. And you can see it, you know what it is, it's a wave. And then it crashes on the shore, and it's gone. But the water is still there. The wave was just a different way for the water to be, for a little while. You know, it's one conception of death for Buddhists. The wave returns to the ocean, where it came from and where it's supposed to be. This, reincarnation, is very literal for me. I am made of carbon and hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen and so much other stardust that has been in billions of beings and formations across time in this cluster of space. My atoms are always returning to the great fabric, and death is the final dispersal. I shed a lot of tears when I watched this episode of The Good Place. Beautiful quote. Made me really reflect on my views on post-death. This honestly sounds like the life stream concept of Final Fantasy VII. I dig it. Basically, all life has a form of energy, and when something dies, the energy returns to the collective pool that is part of the planet's life force. All beings are part of it, large or small. I always thought it was a cool concept. Does anyone else experience flashes of panic when they read about the idea of an infinity of nothing? I wish I didn't. I feel like therapy and the other things I've tried are just distractions and haven't brought me peace. Edit, 4 p.m. Eastern. I just wanted to add that I'm so glad so many people responded to this. One of my favorite authors is Kurt Vonnegut, and his humor about the universe was this coping mechanism of humor and almost nihilism. I know that together we are so royally screwed, but we are in this together, despite being separate beings. Something about the warm embrace of our doomed orbits against the indifferent march to death drives me to be more just decent to one another. I hope in service to my fellow being, my candle can burn up rather than burn out. Yeah, the older I get, the more I seem to think about that and get panicked. These people that say they are at peace with not existing seem strange to me. I want to keep experiencing things. I don't want to just be gone one day. I'm here too. My chest gets hot, I begin to panic, make weird primal noises. It's crazy. Thank you for saying this. The thought of nothing brings me a lot of dread and panic. How can there be nothing when I've lived this whole life? I do not know, man. I don't even want to think about it.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.